Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Sunday Messages. So, I'm actually answering some questions today that I've been receiving kind of with the tone of Dom. So, they're like Dom related questions. If you don't know, that's a class that I have available that I ran last year. It is without a doubt one of the most important teachings that I have ever given. And it was also my most popular class that I ran last year. So for those of you who are really prompt listening to podcasts, I will tell you before anyone else, but I am actually announcing this week during the masterclass, if you're going to be there for the 7 Deadly Shadows masterclass, I'm actually announcing that Dom is getting a sequel. So stay tuned for that, but I wanted to take a moment to answer some of the questions that I've received about this. So this first question is, person A and B interact with very different expectations of each other. How do these interact? So with this, there are a couple different possibilities. The first possibility is that you can have different expectations for each other and get exactly what you expect. So for example, let's take a victim-abuser dynamic. There can be someone who expects the other person to be an abuser, and so they are, and the other person expects the other to be a victim, and so they are. So in the sense that everyone is creating their own reality, they are extracting that from each other through their own expectations. So the bottom line is every reality can be accommodated. So no matter how different the expectations are and how different the perceptions are, the universe, the quantum field, can accommodate any reality that someone is creating. So it's not that you will always be coupled up with people who are holding the same expectations as you. It depends on the dynamic that you're engaging in, right? Because we know that complementary energies can exist in polarities. So think about feminine and masculine energy. Even though they're complementary, they're still harmonious with each other. Now, the other possibility with this is that the difference in frequencies is just so extreme that the two people cannot actually come into each other's experiences. So if you have a really, really strong expectation to get something from someone that simply is not in their energetic composition, they simply won't be able to come into your experience. That's the simplest way that I can put it. So it depends on what is present within the other person. That's going to determine whether or not you can evoke it from them. But the reality that you're attuned to can continue to show up for you through other people. So that's another way that it can show up. Now, the other factor here is who is energetically dominant. So typically, whoever is energetically dominant is going to have an easier time extracting from the other whatever it is that their expectation is. But for each individual, the reality that they experience is going to line up with their expectation no matter what. This is where it gets really complicated and a little bit messy with the idea of objective reality, because it's when it comes to energetics and perception and recalling events, there is no objective reality because everyone is creating all at the same time. So it's going to be impossible to pinpoint a single objective reality unless we're just looking at basic measurements or things like what color was the carpet when you were standing in that room together. Aside from that stuff, objective experiences really don't exist, as odd as that sounds. Okay, the next question, I received this a while back. This one says, do you have a take on Stoicism? I just saw something about it and it looks like to me, it probably is in line with Dom. So keep in mind, I have basically a novice understanding of Stoicism. It's not something that I've really gone deep on. But my basic understanding is that Stoicism is almost a practice of indifference. So indifference to the good things that happen and indifference to the bad things that happen. And what that achieves, if you are in deep practice around Stoicism, it's just going to really shorten your emotional range and your emotional scope. I'm really not a fan of that. And as a matter of fact, I would say Dom might be the polar opposite of Stoicism, only because I'm not teaching you to be tolerant in Dom. In Dom, I'm teaching you how to get whatever you want. So the wildest desire, your power of influence that you have over the relationships that you have in your life, the experiences that you have in your life, the outcomes that you experience in your life, it's through power in getting what you want. It is not indifference. You won't be able to fully wield the Dom tool without having a very sharp focus and understanding of your own desire. If you don't understand what that feels like energetically, it's going to be hard to use the tool that I teach in that. But Dom is not about indifference. It's about radical responsibility for sure. So being 100% responsible over what you're getting, but there's no need for indifference. Because if you're getting something that you don't like, what I'm telling you in Dom is, okay, well, do something about it, shift it, energetically reposition yourself. So the whole point of Dom is getting what you want, having full control over what you're experiencing. And the only reason why you would want to do that is because there's stuff that you want and there's things that you want to feel and there's desires that exist there. So Stoicism isn't really going to take you that deep into pleasure or pain because, well, you're indifferent. So there's not a whole lot to play with. That's why I don't like it very much, because it's like Earth isn't all that fun without some really crazy, awesome highs, in my opinion. That's just how I feel about it. So I hope that answers everything. All right, everyone, that is what I have for you today. Do not forget, check out the 7 Deadly Shadows Masterclass. It is absolutely going to blow your mind. I am going to be giving shadow basics, really understanding what it is, how it works, the function of it. We're going to be going into some basics on day 1 that's going to set the tone for all of the other shadows that we cover, and it's going to be awesome. So I hope you're there. Of course, if you happen to make the live calls, you will be able to ask me questions about anything you might be curious about. And so that's always fun to really get that live conversation with you all. And yes, the replays will be available. Just a heads up, the replay turnaround time is going to take longer than usual for these particular videos. We're going to be adding on like a clean MP3 audio, doing all sorts of editing stuff so it's nice and polished before we put it on YouTube, where normally I put the raw video up. So it is going to take a little bit longer for me to turn those around for you. But yes, the replays will be available as well. So if you still want to make the live calls, you're more than welcome to sign up. There is still time. We're going to be having class through the 29th of this month. So we have 7 calls total, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So I can't wait to see you inside. Have an awesome week, everyone, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.